A lot of times there's a lot of willingness to work with us. ISNA has been pretty good with that. At last year's conferences, interpreters were provided all day for different presentations and workshops, but they do cost money. But for smaller organizations or events, money is scarce. We really need to connect with the hearing community and spread more awareness so Muslims will know more about deafness, to know how to provide services for deaf people so we deaf people can be more involved.
It's interesting. In the non-Muslim community, actually, I feel more integrated and more accepted. Unfortunately, I would have to say that there are some problems with the local mosque. Although it is physically accessible, there is technically a bathroom I can use. The community has decided to use the 2 accessible bathrooms for storage. And the reason why is because there is carpet and there is tile, and rather than do what I suggested and take up the carpet and put down tile so the dirt doesn't track on the musalla, they just do not allow myself, being the example, to use those bathrooms, and that is a great hardship, especially when one is fasting during Ramadan. And because none of the other local masjids are accessible in the local area towns, I really don't have a choice.
With the 2 communities, with the deaf community, all needs are satisfied, but spirituality, where can I get that? I need to turn to the Muslim community for that, but how can I get in? So please help us by providing services, provide interpreters, open up so I can take classes, workshops, go to the masjid to pray, interact with sisters. I can't do that now because there aren't interpreters. I just sit and everything goes over my head. So we really need the Muslim community to give us accessibility.
So the first thing I think that the community could do is stop hiding it's disabled. Secondly, resources are a huge deal. We worry so much about what's going on with the Muslim world and making sure that people in other countries have access to resources and have food and have Qur'ans, but we don't necessarily think about members of our own society here in the United States who can't go to a masjid. They can't go down the stairs because they're in a wheelchair or a walker. We don't talk about disability. It's not a hot topic. It's not something that we really acknowledge, and we still keep our children who have disabilities, who are autistic or in wheelchairs or deaf or blind or have cognitive or developmental delays. We keep them at home. We don't bring them to Jama'ah prayer or enroll them in Sunday school or bring them to a convention.
I think the only thing that I would want to say is that I think it's important for people to be thinking about how can they make their programs and events as accessible as possible to as many people as possible. And that includes people with disabilities.
The tradition of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was that Muslims with disabilities were a natural part of his ummah at his time. And we've definitely moved far away from that through whatever various cultural experiences and whatnot over the centuries. We need to kind of bring that back. Inclusion was a reality at the time of the Prophet. We need to make inclusion a reality today.
I think our community needs to move beyond looking at these children as, they need special needs, not just sympathetically, but really view them for who they are. They are our awliya. They are blessings from Allah. They are the purest amongst us.
Rather than just sadaqah or zakat, it would be more helpful for Muslims with disabilities, both male and female, and myself, to provide economic job opportunities that showcase our skills and our gifts as Muslims.
I see disability as a tremendous opportunity for interfaith work. Something about disability, the experience of parenting a child with a disability is quite universal, I think. Our community has much to learn. I think our community has much to offer and give. and I think families are struggling. I think families are really suffering. I think a lot of families are very reluctant to come forward with their needs. They're reluctant to ask for help. A lot of times I think people hold back and don't offer because they're afraid that they're going to do the wrong thing or say the wrong thing. But if you're sincere and you really want to offer some help and support, just asking, can I do something, can really make a big difference.
My message to the Muslim community would be to have not just an inclusive physical structure of the masjid for people that maybe have disabilities so that they can come to the mosque and pray and participate, but also having an inclusive attitude. And that happens through interactions, that happens through education, by reaching out both from the families that maybe have a child with special needs or they themselves have special need, and making them feel welcome. And that is an obligation, I think, as part of our faith as well. As Muslims, we should be inclusive to make sure that this is a place of learning, a place of worship, a place of community for everyone involved.
It's good.